You say you want success, right? You want to change your life, rise above the noise, become something extraordinary. But let me ask you this, what are you doing between 4 and 5 a.m.? Sleeping. Dreaming? While the life you crave is already awake, success doesn't wait for alarms. It waits for the awakened. You want a different life? Then start by doing what 99% of people won't eat up before the world does. Because that hour, it's not just a time. It's a weapon. Between 4 and 5 a.m., something remarkable happens. The world quiets down in a way it never does at any other time of the day. No buzzing phones, no traffic, no interruptions. Just stillness. And in that stillness, you get access to something powerful, your unfiltered thoughts. When everything else is silent, your inner voice becomes loud. That voice, the one that gets drowned out by noise, pressure, opinions, and distractions all day long, that voice becomes your compass. It tells you what you truly want, who you really are, and where you need to go. It whispers dreams, goals, ideas, plans. Things that don't get the space to breathe when you wake up late and jump straight into the chaos. Most people live reactive lives. They wake up and immediately get pulled into the demands of the world. They check their phones, scroll through social media, respond to messages, and are already behind before their feet hit the floor. But waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. flips the entire script. Instead of reacting, you begin creating. You create your mood. You create your mindset. You create your mission for the day before the world has a chance to interfere. That kind of power, the ability to command your day instead of obeying it, is a life changer. It's the foundation of intentional living. And intentional living always beats accidental success. In those early hours, your brain functions differently. Science backs it up. Your willpower, focus, and creativity are highest right after waking, especially when you've had enough rest and wake with purpose. That means if you're writing a book, building a business, planning your future, or even just journaling to find clarity, that is the time to do it. Ideas just come, they flow. Your mind becomes a laboratory, a battlefield, a temple, whatever you need it to be. It's like the universe opens a private channel just for you. You don't need inspiration. You become inspiration. And once you've tasted that kind of mental clarity, sleeping in feels like betrayal. It's not just the mental space, it's emotional clarity too. In the early morning, your emotions are raw, honest, and untouched by the drama of the day. This is when you face yourself. No filters, no facades, just the real you. That confrontation with yourself day after day builds emotional intelligence. You begin to see patterns in your thoughts. You recognize what you're avoiding, what you're craving, and what you need to fix. That's growth. Not the kind people see, but the kind that lasts. When you know yourself at 4 a.m., you carry a different level of awareness throughout the rest of your day. You respond instead of react. You lead instead of follow. You rise instead of drift. Now think about what that means over time. Waking up early isn't just about getting ahead, it's about staying ahead. One morning gives you clarity. 10 mornings builds momentum. 100 mornings rewires your mind. This is where transformation begins, not in dramatic changes, but in consistent, quiet evolution. The kind of evolution that's invisible to the world until one day it's undeniable. Because eventually the internal shifts become external results. And by the time the world notices your growth, you'll be so far ahead, they'll have no idea how you did it, but you'll know you did it before the sun came up, while they were still dreaming you were becoming. And that's the beauty of those hours, they belong to no one but you. That ownership, that solitude becomes sacred. And in that sacred space, you start making decisions that are truly yours, not inherited. not forced, not manipulated by trends or timelines. Waking up early gives you control, and control gives you freedom. Freedom to think, to build, to become. It teaches you that success isn't about rushing, it's about rising with purpose. And there's no better time to rise than when the world is still sleeping. Because that's when your future finally has the room to speak. And you finally have the clarity to listen. Waking up early is not just a time management trick, it's a mindset shift. It's a way of telling yourself and the universe, I am in control. Every time that alarm rings before dawn and you choose to rise, you're choosing power over passivity. That choice becomes a message to your subconscious, my goals matter more than my comfort. And over time, that message becomes your identity. You're no longer the person who waits for the right moment. You become the person who creates it. That's what discipline is doing, what needs to be done, long after the feeling to do it has passed. And waking up early is the first battle you win each day. It sets the tone. It lays the foundation. And without a solid foundation, you can't build anything that lasts. Most people think discipline is restrictive. They think it's about depriving yourself. But that's not the truth. Discipline doesn't take your freedom, it gives the freedom to say no to distractions. The freedom to stay consistent when motivation fades. The freedom to show up for yourself even when no one else claps. When you wake up before the world does, you're not missing sleep, you're gaining control. You're building a habit of self-respect. You're saying, I value my time, I value my energy, and I value my future. And the more often you make that choice, the stronger your discipline becomes. It moves from effort to instinct, from something you have to push to something that pulls you forward. And once discipline becomes instinct, you no longer fight with yourself every morning. You stop negotiating with excuses. The alarm rings and you move. Not because it's easy, but because it's you. That's identity level transformation. The person you were is no longer the person you are. You're not just someone who wants success, you're someone who acts like it. You train like it. You plan like it. You live like it. The world begins to feel different, not because it changed, but because you did. That's what internal discipline does. It doesn't just improve your mornings. It elevates your entire existence. And you carry that energy into everything, your work, your relationships, your health, your leadership. There's something fierce about someone who shows up early, who pushes through resistance when no one's watching, who grinds in silence without applause. That kind of person becomes unstoppable. Because they've trained in the dark. They've done the hard work when it was inconvenient. And that creates a mental toughness that can't be faked. Waking up early becomes your secret training ground. It's where you sharpen your edge when everyone else is still soft. You develop grit. Not the Instagram version of grit, the real kind. The kind that doesn't post. The kind that shows up. The kind that doesn't quit when things get hard. That's discipline, and discipline is what turns average people into legends. It also eliminates excuses. You stop blaming the clock. You stop blaming your schedule. You stop saying, I didn't have time, because you made time. You created it when most people were still dreaming. That's what separates winners from everyone else, the ability to prioritize what matters before the world demands your attention. When you start your day in discipline, the rest of the day bends to your will. You take control of your calendar. You don't chase productivity, you lead it. Your habits shift. Your focus sharpens. You start finishing things most people haven't even started. That kind of progress. It compounds. Quietly. Powerfully. Consistently. And here's the truth, discipline doesn't show up once and change your life. It shows up daily. In the small decisions. Like getting out of bed when everything in you wants to hit snooze. Like choosing structure over chaos. like saying yes to growth when comfort whispers stay. Every time you make that choice, you're not just building a habit, you're building character. And character is what carries you through the storms. When motivation dies, discipline stands. When the journey gets hard, discipline leads. It becomes your anchor and your engine. And it all starts with one decision: to rise early and lead your day with intention. Most people wait for motivation like it's something they need to find. Like it's hiding somewhere in a book, a video, or a podcast. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It's fleeting. It's emotional. It's there one day and gone the next. If you depend on motivation to move, you'll only act when it's convenient, and success doesn't live in convenience. Energy, real energy, is not something you wait for. It's something you generate. And waking up between 4 and 5 a.m. is one of the most powerful ways to create that energy. It demands effort, and in that effort you ignite momentum. You train your body to rise before it feels ready, and in doing so, you train your mind to lead instead of follow. That's the beginning of power. When your alarm goes off at that early hour, your first instinct might be to stay in bed, to tell yourself 5 more minutes, to wait until you feel ready. But nothing extraordinary ever comes from waiting to feel ready. Champions, creators, leaders, they act through resistance. They move before it's comfortable. That early morning resistance is not your enemy, it's your training partner. It's testing your will. It's sharpening your discipline. And when you push through it, even if it's just standing up, making your bed, stepping outside, or getting your blood flowing, you feel something shift. Your body starts catching up to your mind, the fog begins to lift. That simple action becomes fuel, and suddenly you're not tired, you're alive. Awake. Activated. Your physiology follows your psychology. When you wake up early and start your day with intentional movement, whether it's a workout, stretching, a walk, or deep breathing, you're sending a signal to every part of your being. We're in motion. Your blood starts to circulate. Your lungs expand. Your heart rate increases, your mind sharpens. Energy isn't magic, it's biology. But the trick is, you have to start to feel it. Most people never reach that state because they never move long enough to activate it. They hit snooze and then complain about being tired all day. But those who rise early, who take command of their body and mind in those quiet hours, they generate their own fuel. That's the difference between being average and being light. There's a myth that says creativity happens randomly, that inspiration strikes like lightning. But the truth is, creativity flows most powerfully when you build a rhythm. And there's no better time to build that rhythm than in the early morning. Your mind is fresh. It hasn't been hijacked by distractions. Your thoughts are uncluttered, your imagination is free. This is the hour where ideas come to life, not because you're waiting for them, but because you're prepared to receive them. When you sit in stillness, when you create space, when you begin moving and thinking and aligning your body and brain, that's when creativity arrives. Not randomly, but as a result of your effort. You don't chase it. You earn it. Momentum isn't built by bursts of effort. It's built by consistent motion, especially when it's hard. That's why early mornings are such a powerful force. They train your mind to build momentum from zero. You're not riding the wave of caffeine or external pressure. You're creating your own force from stillness to action. And when you practice this daily, your threshold for difficulty rises. Things that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Your baseline energy increases. You're no longer dragging yourself through the day, you're leading it with purpose. That internal fire you lit at 4 a.m., it keeps burning hour after hour because you started it. You didn't wait. You acted. People talk about wanting an edge. They want to be different, to stand out, to outwork the competition. But the edge doesn't come from working harder at noon, it comes from starting earlier than everyone else. That early morning hour becomes your secret weapon. It's where you build stamina. Not just physical, but mental and emotional stamina. You become someone who moves no matter what. And that kind of energy, it's not hype. It's not temporary. Waking up early doesn't add more hours to the day, but it gives you something even more valuable, undivided time. Most people spend their days in reaction mode, answering calls, replying to emails, scrolling through notifications, and trying to catch up. By the time they sit down to focus, half the day is already gone. But those who rise between 4 and 5 a.m. aren't just ahead on the clock, they're ahead in clarity, control, and execution. Those first hours, untouched by the demands of the world, become a sanctuary for deep work. This is the time when your mind is strongest and the world is quietest. In those hours, every minute is worth triple. You're not multitasking. It's earned. You become energy, you radiate confidence, direction, intensity, and all of it started with a decision to rise before the world, to face the resistance, and to create momentum with your own hands. You're not distracted. You're fully present, and that presence is where real progress is made. Imagine what happens when you spend your first 3 hours of the day on you. Not your boss, not your job, not the world, you, your goals, your health, your mind, your mission. That time becomes sacred. It's no longer about the quantity of hours in your day, it's about the quality. And early mornings offer the highest quality time you'll ever get. It's when your energy is pure. Your thoughts are unshaped by negativity. There are no demands, no noise, no pressure. Just space, real space to build, to reflect, to create. And that kind of space is rare. It's the reason some people move ahead while others stay stuck. It's not that they have more time, they just use better time. And they use it before the world wakes up. This window of time is where momentum is created. When you use the early hours to take aligned action, whether that's training your body, writing down your goals, visualizing your success, or making progress on a project, you generate a rhythm that carries into the rest of the day. Momentum is not a switch you flip on at 10 dash. It's a wave you start building before sunrise. The earlier you start that wave, the more unstoppable it becomes. And by the time the rest of the world is still rubbing the sleep from their eyes, you've already conquered the hardest part of your day. That sense of progress, that internal victory, becomes the foundation of your confidence. And confidence born from action is unshakable. People often confuse being busy with being productive. But busyness is chaos. Productivity is intentional. And intention starts with planning, and the best time to plan is when your mind is free. That's what early mornings give you. The space to design your day before it designs you. Instead of rushing into meetings, responding to problems, or chasing deadlines, you start from a place of clarity. You ask yourself, what actually matters today? What needs to be done to move me closer to my vision? This mindset shifts your entire trajectory. You stop living in reaction, and you start living in creation. And when you become the creator of your day, your life begins to take shape on your terms. It's not just about professional productivity either. The early morning gives you emotional bandwidth. It allows you to check in with yourself, to assess how you're really feeling, to ground yourself before the outside world pulls you in 100 directions. You move slower, breathe deeper, think clearer. This is when you set your emotional thermostat. You decide your state before the chaos has a chance to decide it for you. And when you do that consistently, you start experiencing life differently. You're no longer reactive. You're resilient. And that emotional resilience becomes one of your greatest assets, not just for productivity, but for your entire well-being. Time is the one thing we can never get back. But how you spend time determines who you become. And those quiet hours, the ones most people sleep through, are the hours that separate the dreamers from the doers. The dreamers wait for the right conditions. The doers create them every morning in silence while the world is still asleep. That's the real advantage. Not the hour on the clock, but the decision to own that hour. To make it count. To fill it with value. Because how you start your day isn't just about the day, it's about the life you're building. And early mornings give you the leverage to build it with power, purpose, and precision. ChatGPT said, most people chase success in the daylight. They think it's about showing up when everyone's watching, being seen, being loud, making moves in front of the crowd. But real transformation, the kind that lasts, the kind that builds legacies, doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows. It happens in the hours no one sees. Between 4 and 5 a.m., when the world is quiet, that's when you sculpt your future. That's where real work lives. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. But it's real. And what's real will always outlast what's just visible. Success is not built in public, it's revealed in public. But it's built in private. And those early hours, that's your workshop. That's where the groundwork gets laid day by day in silence. The world will never applaud your early mornings. There won't be a standing ovation when you show up to grind at 4:30 a.m. There's no one clapping when you sit in front of your journal or stretch on the mat or open your laptop before the sun rises. And that's what makes it powerful. Because when you learn to show up without needing applause, you become unstoppable. You're no longer driven by validation, you're driven by vision. When the vision becomes more important than attention, you tap into something deeper than discipline. You tap into devotion. You're no longer chasing motivation, you're moving with intention. And that kind of intention can move mountains quietly, steadily, relentlessly. People often underestimate what happens in solitude. But solitude is where clarity is born. When you're alone, especially in the early morning hours, you get to face your thoughts without distraction. You begin to hear your truth, not the noise from social media, not the opinions of your peers, not the pressure of the world, but your own voice. And when you listen long enough, you begin to trust it. That inner knowing becomes your guide. You stop second guessing. You stop overthinking. You get, you create, you build. Because you've developed a relationship with your mind that most people never experience. Waking up early gives you access to that sacred space, a place of raw honesty and creative energy that's buried by the chaos of the day. It's also in these early hours that you reconnect with your why. You remember what you're fighting for. You remember the dream you had when no one believed in it but you. You remember the hunger, the fire, the promise you made to yourself on the hardest nights. When life gets busy, it's easy to forget. But at 4 a.m., when the world is still and it's just you and your purpose, everything comes back into focus. You stop drifting. You start aiming. And that alignment, even if it only lasts for an hour, can recalibrate your entire day. You carry that focus into every decision, every interaction, every moment. You're no longer floating, you're driven. The early morning doesn't just shape your habits. It shapes your identity. Because over time, every small unseen action adds up. Every repetition, every quiet effort, every day you rise while others sleep. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to become someone different. Not just someone who works hard, but someone who is unshakable, grounded, consistent. That consistency breeds confidence. You start to trust yourself. You know you'll show up no matter what. That self-trust becomes the foundation of everything. Because when you believe in yourself at 4 a.m., you don't need outside permission. You move. You lead. You own your path. And the most powerful part, it's sustainable. because it's built on effort, not hype. There are no shortcuts here, no tricks. Just you, the silence, and the work. You're not waiting for life to hand you momentum, you're creating it from the ground up. And it's in that creation, in that commitment to daily effort when no one is watching, that real transformation is forged. It's not loud, it's not fast, but it's real. And what's real always rises sooner or later. Not because the world woke up to see it, but because you never stop building in the dark. The people who consistently wake up between 4 and 5 a.m. are not just chasing success, they are training their minds to become unstoppable. That early hour is more than a timestamp. It's a mental contract you make with yourself every day. It says, I will not let comfort win. I will not let excuses define me. I will lead even when no one is watching. And that act of rising while others sleep isn't about being a morning person. It's about becoming a disciplined person. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's the quiet force that builds character, endurance, and integrity. When you commit to early mornings, you're not just changing your schedule, you're reconstructing your mindset from reactive to proactive, from passive to powerful. Every time you choose to get out of bed before the sun, you reinforce a belief in yourself that you are in control. That belief is everything. Because once you understand that you dictate the direction of your life, not circumstances, not emotion, not distractions, you reclaim your power. This internal shift doesn't happen overnight. It happens through repetition. Day after day, when you override that voice telling you to sleep in, you build mental toughness. And mental toughness is what separates high performers from the rest. It's what allows you to stay focused in chaos, to stay grounded in storms, to show up even when it's hard. That resilience doesn't come from talent or luck, it comes from training your will. And few things train your will like winning the battle of the alarm clock. Waking up early creates a chain reaction that bleeds into every part of your life. You start with one small, consistent win, and that win fuels others. You eat better because your body is awake and aligned. You think clearer because you've given yourself space to breathe and reflect. You make sharper decisions because you're not rushing through your day, you're commanding it. That small victory at 4:30 a.m. becomes the anchor of a decision that follows. And when you consistently stack those wins, when you begin each day from a place of control and clarity, you build unstoppable momentum. You start feeling like the leader of your life, not the victim of your schedule. Most people live in a fog of distraction, stress, and fatigue because they're constantly behind. They wake up already overwhelmed, already anxious, already chasing the day. But early risers live in a different rhythm. They own the morning, and because of that, they own the day. This shift changes your identity. You stop being someone who reacts, and you become someone who initiates. Someone who decides what matters, what gets done, and how it gets done. That kind of power doesn't require perfection, it requires consistency. It's not about having a flawless morning routine with a checklist of rituals. It's about showing up again and again, no matter how you feel. That habit alone rewires your mindset for success. It's easy to think waking up early is just about productivity, but the deeper truth is it's about self-respect. When you wake up early to invest in yourself, you're telling your future, you matter to me. You're proving through action that your dreams aren't just words, they're priorities. Most people say they want change, but they live like tomorrow's guaranteed. Waking up at 4 a.m. is a declaration. You're not waiting anymore. You're not postponing your life. You're taking ownership. No. Someone who decides what matters, what gets done, and how it gets done. That kind of power doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. It's not about having a flawless morning routine with a checklist of rituals. It's about showing up again and again no matter how you feel. That habit alone rewires your mindset for success. It's easy to think waking up early is just about productivity, but the deeper truth is it's about self-respect. When you wake up early to invest in yourself, you're telling your future, you matter to me. You're proving through action that your dreams aren't just words, they're priorities. Most people say they want change, but they live like tomorrow's guaranteed. Waking up at 4 a.m. is a declaration. You're not waiting anymore. You're not postponing your life. You're taking ownership. No. When comfort is whispering in your ear and you rise anyway, that choice made consistently will rewire your entire life. Because once you realize you can own your morning, you realize you can own anything. S. Oh, if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to change your life, this is it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the alarm clock is more than a sound, it's a challenge. A challenge to rise, to lead, to become the version of yourself that doesn't just survive the day but commands it. Waking up between 4 and 5 a.m. isn't just a habit, it's a statement. A declaration that you're done living on autopilot. You're done watching others succeed while you keep saying someday. You're not here for average. You're here to build a life that reflects the fire inside you. One morning at a time. One decision at a time. So set the alarm. Get up. And own it. Because your next level isn't sleeping in, it's waiting for you before the world wakes up.